Hello everyone and welcome to the first round of UAL STM. We are at Fuji International Speedway, the short layout of this, and we're gonna go into qualifying very soon, something like 3 minutes from now. For now, while we are waiting on the qualifying, let me quickly talk you through the championship and its calendar. So we start the season off here at Fuji, then we're gonna go to Monza. For round 3 we're gonna go to Spa. Round 4 is Nürburgring GP and it's gonna be an endurance round, so instead of 1 hour race we're gonna have 1.5 hour of racing. Then for round 5 we're going to Catalonia, round 6 Interlagos, round 7 Laguna Seca, recently added into the game, round 8 Fuji again, but this time the full layout of it, and we end the season in Suzuka with another endurance race. So yeah, pretty iconic tracks right there. Yep, welcome to the stream, guys. We're gonna go into qualifying very soon. This championship is using Group 2 Super GT cars, but slightly modified. They have less weight, so we're using 90% weight. Yeah, man, I'm really trying. I'm sorry, man. I'm doing my best. It's been 2 minutes. I've probably done it multiple times already. But yeah, as you can see, throughout the race, you can put questions, topics in the chat. I'm gonna discuss them if I get the chance. Yeah, waiting on qualifying to start, and we're gonna be good to go. It's gonna be a 15-minute qualifying session, and then it's rolling start for the race. Yeah, I really wish Callum were race, so we would have gotten the full lobby, but still, it's 13 drivers, very solid. Should be a lot of action, a lot of fun for drivers and for us viewers as well. Alright, Mark, you can concentrate on qualifying, not on my girlfriend, please. Just a friendly suggestion. Alright, so less than a minute should be left before going to qualifying. We've got 8 viewers already. It's very good. Welcome, guys. UAL STM round 1. I'm gonna be starting soon. If you got any questions about the regulations, settings of the championship, ask me in the chat while we're waiting. So I believe qualifying should be going green now. Yes, it's green. Joe is the first one to go to the track. Let's follow him. Yep, warming up the tires. So super soft only tires for qualifying, and for the race, softs and mediums are going to be available, with the requirement to use both of the compounds at least once during the race. And if I remember correctly, job is going to be starting on 50% of fuel, so that's going to be an interesting point to look out for. How are they going to manage fuel? Who's better in fuel saving, if they're going to be saving fuel? It's a pretty tight group right here. Mitch right behind Joe, and Joe is going to actually let him go. Doesn't want to be first, start the flying lap. Actually, this is pretty wise, because the person in front will not get slipstream. It's pretty important around this track, especially on the home straight. So we got Mitch, who's going to be most likely the first one to start his qualifying lap, with Oscar, his teammate, MRT teammate, right behind him. Mark making his full-time return to racing, at least for this STM season. Then we got Mike and Kieran trying to find his way around, and probably not the best idea to slow down right here. It's gonna mess up the exits onto the straight. Then we got Mike. Joe dropped down to 7th on track, was first. We got James Newcomer to UAL. I'm pretty sure he can be a dark horse in this championship. We're gonna have to look out for him. Steve, Jordan, Florian and Waze rounding up the cars going on the final lap. Oh, flying lap, I'm sorry. Oh, Oscar's a little bit wide there. Hopefully his lap will not get invalidated. He's following his teammate pretty close through this twisty section. It's not going to be easy for Oscar. He's going to pick up a lot of dirty air. Downforce is pretty strong on this car, so dirty air might play a huge factor here. We're going to final sector. Well, Kieran's playing smart, following Mike in the slipstream as well. So Mitch is about to go into the final corner and finish his first flying lap. Let's see what time they can put on the board. Goes into the final straight. Let's see. And it's going to be 25.2. Let's see if somebody tops that. Yeah, Oscar way off of him. One second behind. Mark slows him behind, between them. Now Mark beats him to the second place. So Mitch, for now, is staying in P1. Oh, James is up into P2. Very, very close to Mitch. Wow, that's pretty tight. It's very close between Kieran and Steven as well. Less than a tenth between them. Oscar unfortunately dropping down to P8, but I'm sure he's going to improve this lap time. And as well, cars are going to be getting faster and faster as they do laps with the fuel going down. I'm sure drivers are going to pit for the fresh rubber during the qualifying. We've got 15 minutes, that's enough of time to burn some fuel, change tires, going to... Oh, Oscar's going wide, it's going to hinder his lap time. Not perfect for him. James is overtaking Joe. Yeah, he's down his second sector on his personal best, not ideal. Yeah, pretty disappointing P11 for Joe for now, but probably it's just a benchmark to improve on his lap time. Let's see, Mitch, does he improve? No, he doesn't, actually, half a second slower than his previous lap. Oscar goes P3. Wow, it's very tight between top 4, top 5 actually. Look, it's only less than 4 tenths between P5 and P1. Let's see if Florian improves. Florian is a Pro-Am runner-up in P1 class. Oh, he goes P1, look at this. New fastest lap of this qualifying, Florian Kirsch in Nissan GTR goes fastest with a 25.191. Yeah, as I was saying, he's a runner-up. He was a runner-up for Pro-Am title in WEC Season 4. Just missing out on title in the last round due to penalties. I'm sure he's going to be the force to be reckoned with. We've got yellow flags, probably a car going... It's Kieran off track. Not sure if he made a mistake just letting everyone through. If he gets going on. Hopefully nothing happens. Yeah, top 3, look at this. A 10th between 3rd and 1st. Wow. No improvement still. Oscar goes fastest, just beats Florian into P1. Probably the slipstream helping him. But not for now. Yeah, Oscar flashing his lights, probably telling him to slow down, let him through. It's actually purple into 1st sector. Oh, Florian goes fastest again, look at this. The first one to go into the 24s, 24.980. Very, very solid lap time. That moves James into P4 and Mark is down into P5 after being P2 momentarily. Yeah, interesting enough, Joe isn't improving, and Jordan, he joined MWPR, honestly. While we're watching qualifying here, let me know in the chat your predictions. Let me know your top 3 finishes. Because for me, it's very difficult to predict, because we haven't seen these drivers in these cars a lot, and it's a very competitive field. I can name at least 6 drivers that can win a race easily if things go their way. Maybe more than this actually. Florian into the pits, probably for new set of tires. Yeah, tires going on. Gonna be out of the pits. He's got a pretty sizable gap, well, compared to other positions. Exactly 1/10 ahead of James in P2 actually. He improved his qualifying time, 25 flat, almost. Oscar wide again. Oscar had a lot of penalties from WEC, especially in qualifying and the race. So yeah, I hope he doesn't repeat his mistakes and stay clean so he doesn't get his lap invalidated. Mitch goes across the line. Is he going to improve? Yes, it's an improvement, but he stays before 25.189. Oscar still P3. Mike P6. Very close, but still a little bit not there. If he improves by 3/10, he's going to jump into P4. James is in the pits with a fresh set of tires. Yeah, it's very nice of him to not mess everybody's laps. Waiting to the pits as well for a fresh set of tires. Florian, he's out lap, he's going to start his flying lap right now. I hope the quality of the stream remains decent, something that's watchable at least. I hope no more quality drops for now. I can only apologize for that. Mike is a little bit wide there. Doesn't count lap, it's fine. Yeah, both MRT cars into the pits with a fresh set of tires. Now position change. Wow, Waste into P7. Look at this. From last place into P7. Let's see if he's gonna hold there. And that's a sign that Mike, Joe, Kieran, everybody under him is underperforming actually, because Waste isn't famous for being anywhere near close top 5, but look at him, 4 times of P6, very solid P7 for him. So as he gets taken by Kieran, who sets his new personal best 25.7. So I believe now position changes at the moment at the top, but Florian improves his personal best massively. He's now 8/10 ahead of James. Look at that. That's a very, very big gap. And his curve on the first sector as well. It's 24.275. It's very solid lap time. Wow. That's gonna be tough to beat, I'm pretty sure. If who's just going to Mark is going to cross the line right now. Is it going to be an improvement? It is. He jumps into P2, 25.0. Very solid. Still 7/10 off of Florian. Florian is the only one driver into 24s right now. Wow. I told you a couple of minutes ago about Florian being one of the main contenders for race wins, maybe even title. Let's see. James doesn't improve, stays P3 for now. Yeah, MRT cars just starting their laps. I think we've got something like 5 minutes, maybe even less left in qualifying. So everybody is running out of time to try and beat Florian's very impressive lap time. I wonder if teams are trying to work together and give slips from each other. I know MRT cars are trying it, but it's not really working out at the moment. Probably they're too close together, so they lose time in the middle sector to each other due to dirty air. Let's see if Mitch improves. Nope, no improvement. Oscar improves his lap time and goes P2, second driver into 24s, 24.9. He's getting close to Florian, but still not enough to move Florian out of his pole position at the moment. Still very solid. Oh, James beats him. James beats him just by 1.5 tenths and moves into P2. It's very close at the top. Oh, as he loses the car on the AstroTurf there. Yeah, very easy to do. I'm afraid we're gonna see a couple of cars doing this in the race. I hope we don't, but there's a chance of that. It's very easy to do, or mark very wide going into the final sector. Yeah, bought his lap time. Stops on track, not sure what's going on there. Probably just letting cars past as they approach him. Oh, Oscar Beerwhite is going to hinder him. He's going to let Mitch through. No. He's going to give him slipstream. Mitch is in P5 at the moment, very solid. He scored a podium in every race he entered in WEC last season, so it's something like 4 out of 4 podium ratio. Very solid. No improvement just yet, so stays P5 now. So let's do a quick rundown of the field. Florian currently P1 with a 24.2 lap time. James P2, 4 tenths behind, almost 5 tenths behind. Oscar into P3. Mark P4 with a 25.0 lap time. Mitch P5. I'm pretty sure qualifying is over, as I see a lot of drivers slowing down. Yes, qualifying is over. Mike stays P6, Jordan P7, Waze P8, very solid for Waze. Kieran P9, Steve P10, P11, Mike Isles, and last place on the grid, Joe Bramwell, P12. So now we're just waiting on a host to record all the positions, and we're gonna go back into the lobby and start this race. While we're waiting, let me know your first lap predictions, and mainly is Florian going to keep his P1 after the start, because we know it's a very low speed and very tight first corner. You can go around the outside, but it's going to be difficult. So I'm pretty sure, as Paul said, that he's going to choose the right hand side for the start, and that also going to give people like Oscar, for example, or Mitch, an opportunity to gain positions into turn 1 on lap 1, because they're going to be on the inside, and with field being so bunched up together, there's a very good chance for them to find positions on lap 1. So we're gonna go back into the pits as we are ready to start the race. First round of UAL STM, 1 hour of racing. I am pretty sure we are in for a very, very interesting race. A lot of very fast drivers, fast cars, maybe some strategy involved. I personally cannot wait to see the race. So Jordan left room. Wonder what's all that about. It's probably going to be a little bit of a delay before we go racing. As you can see, drivers now nominating their starting tyre. So just a reminder again, mediums and softs have to be used during the race. So from what we've learned in WEC, sometimes going on softs for the first stint is a valuable strategy, because with low fuel, drivers are starting on 50% of fuel. With low fuel, faster tyre, if you can manage to stay out of unnecessary fighting, out of traffic, out of incidents, you can really pull away from the pack and then just manage that gap. But as you can see, most of the drivers are going on mediums. Only Mark and Waze are going on softs. So Mark is going for an aggressive strategy, trying to maybe get into the lead very soon and pull away from there. But yeah, most drivers are opting to start on medium tyre. Jordan is back in the lobby, and that means we are gonna start the race very soon. Waiting for drivers to ready up. There you go. Still a couple of drivers to ready up, and we're gonna go on to the formation lap. Still waiting on Jordan, Mike and Mark. I will see Kieran changing his starting tyre to soft. Okay, Jordan, come on. Let's go racing. People are waiting. Let's go. Alright, all ready now. Let's spectate. Yes, we're ready to start the race. First we're gonna go into formation lap. Then start the race with a rolling start. Look at this, 4,000 kilometers on that Nissan for Joe. That was some preparation for him this season, I'm pretty sure. Let's go on board with our pole sitter. Let's see. Right guys, let's go. Oh, I just got a message from host that we're gonna wait until 8 PM UK time, so 6 more minutes to start the race. Well, maybe there's a reason for it, but while we wait less than 6 minutes, so while we get the chance, a little pause, sorry for a little delay, let me just get the second commentator in. Right, so second commentator is invited. We're gonna wait for him to join. Oh, hello there. Welcome. I'm not gonna be alone here this time. Yeah, it's always better to have someone else to talk about the race, yeah. Yes, yes. I was actually not expecting Florian to take pole position. I was expecting him to be up there, but that pole position with that lap time is really something else. Yep. Yeah, we don't actually know the reason for this delay, but it is there, so we got less than 4 minutes now until... Yeah. I'm told people cannot hear you. Probably that's your mic settings. Let me get something to write down. Okay, I'll just wait for people to let me know if they can hear you or not. Oh, we're starting the final already, okay. Alright. So we're ready to go into the race. Formation lap is gonna start very, very soon. I need to find something to write incidents down in case we need to review them after the race. Let's get the full info. Yep. And information lab is underway. Florian takes away, leading the pack. While we are on the formation lab, let me know your podium predictions. Callum? Okay, let me check mine because it's maybe my settings not allowing to pick up nope, it's all good on my end, so it should be fine. Is your audio being, is it allowed to, yeah, all audio to be picked up on broadcasting? Well, unfortunately. Alright, we're going to the final corner. Drivers are gonna be
should be able to hear me now,
together. Okay, I hope they do.
You take the lead though, anyway.
Yep, out of the final corner we go. Onto the final straight. I think they're gonna start under the bridge, not on the start-finish line. Yep, everybody benched up.
Okay.
Florian in pole position on the right hand side, the inside line for the first corner. Oh, it's gonna be interesting, I'm very sure about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very interesting to see how
and we're racing on the first bridge actually, we're racing. Florian holds the lead for now. It's 3 wide for seconds. I think Florian's gonna hold his position. Now, oh, he gets tapped from behind. Oscar into P1 actually. Yeah, he's leading the race with Florian close behind. It's Mark in P3. He actually gonna take P2 from Florian as well. So Florian is falling down the order on the start right here. Not ideal for him, but we know that Mark is an aggressive strategy on soft tires and he's already putting pressure on Oscar. He's right behind him, right in his rear bumper. Mission P4, very close to Florian as well. And it's all kicking off for P5. Jordan challenging Kieran for P5. Kieran's going a little bit wide. And Mike, wow, Mike takes 2 positions in 1 corner going up into P5. Oh, Mark is actually in the lead. Let's take a look at this overtake for P1. Yeah, down the inside.
Well, there's contact further back as well with a few cars getting involved as well, so...
Oh yeah, there's heavy
cars. Just missed that out there, but yeah, it got tagged from... can't see the number on that car, but
Mike,
yeah, it wasn't ideal.
So let's take a look. So it's, I believe it's coming out of the final corner. Oh, it's actually Mike losing his backhand, yeah, on the AstroTurf. spinning across the track and collecting a couple of cars in the progress. Yeah, I was speaking about it during the qualifying. It's very easy to spin on the AstroTurf there. Very
and it's actually side by side for the lead at the moment. Mark's getting a challenge. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys do through the middle sector. They nose to tail, they've been swapping places all the time.
Mark dives down the inside, wow.
That was a
little
great
bit aggressive,
Mark.
but move is down. And now Florian's very vulnerable. Oh wow, it's probably didn't see Florian there, pushing him wide. Yeah, it's very crucial for Mark to take the lead right now, as he's on soft tires. He needs to pull away as fast as he can to make the strategy work. And at the moment he's doing this, he's already 1 second ahead of Oscar in P2.
Yeah, but he needs to try and break that toe as well. Obviously it's a really, really long straight here, so to try and break the toe in the early laps and try and break a gap as soon as he gets to the middle sector, then he's got the soft tyres to try and push away from the other cars just behind him. He's a bit on the grass actually as we're going down the main straight, but it seems like he's got a good enough gap there to start extending his lead as we go on to lap 3.
Let me take a look further down the field. We've got Waze making a move for P7 on Mike, probably going to be ahead by the first corner. Actually, Joe jumps them, almost jumps them both.
Yeah, but it's really close between the three of them, and Joe, it looked like just on the inside there, but Wace has gone all the way around the outside and managed to hold on to his position, so it's a great battle there. That's for 7th place.
Yeah,
going
Mike
into sector 2 now.
It's not ideal for him. Wace leading this little group right here. Gonna be difficult for them to stick behind during the middle sector because of dirty air. Ooh, a little bit of a contact between Mike and Joe, but Joe keeps his position.
Yeah, these guys need to try and just keep onto the back of Wace, because Wace is on soft tyres as well, remember, so he's going to be quicker through these middle sectors. But as soon as they get to the straight, obviously the toe is going to affect them quite dramatically.
Yeah,
and Joe just went a tiny bit wide there, as he said, and going through the last part of the lap now, and
big
everybody seems to go a tiny bit wide as well. Yeah, that was very wide, and the German driver there as well in the Nissan, just going slightly wide there and gathering himself up. So it's still really, really close to this stage of the race as Waze goes a tiny bit wide out the final corner, but still gets to a good run, followed by Joe.
We're on board with Florian as he goes past Oscar. Yep, able to clear him. Oscar dives down the inside. Wow,
that's a good move from Oscar. He timed that well, and just manages to stay ahead of him as they go into
better traction. Well, now Mitch can actually challenge Florian for P3. Nope, sticks behind for now.
It's a difficult corner to try and overtake through that left hand. You've got quite a lot of speed carrying through there, so and then you've got this long right-hander that seems to scrub all the speed out of the tyres.
Yeah, and exactly what we're talking about. Mark is pulling away massively from this group, especially with them fighting. He's already 3 seconds ahead of them, so he needs this gap to go up and up and up if he wants to make this softer strategy work.
Absolutely, and it seems like he'll probably do it as well by the looks of it, especially with these guys squabbling behind.
Florian goes for P2. Florian down the inside of Oscar.
But Ozzy actually holds it around the outside of him. That was a great move there, so it looks like he's going to go back down the inside of him as well as they go into the penultimate corner. Oscar getting all squiggly and onto the curb, but tries to get it back up the inside of him. And Florian's gone wide actually. Florian onto the grass and then losing position 2-3 places.
Oh, actually, Kieran is right there. He's right behind Mitch. All that battling really hindering them in terms of overall racing time as they fall into the clutches of the guys behind. Florian and James are now going into the first corner almost side by side. Yeah, not very good start of the race for Florian, going from P1 to P5. Not something that he wanted, definitely, yeah. Wow, already almost 5 seconds from Oscar to Mark.
Yeah, and that's all that battling that's just allowed Mark to just absolutely break away. He's not even in shot as we watch. Well, I'm watching Oscar just going through that fast right-hander right now, and followed by his teammate Mitch just behind him, but being very well challenged as well by LMSE Wolf as well, so in that pink and white Lexus there, so it's really, really close for
Kieran is also on
for second place.
Yeah, on soft tyres, he needs to overtake these cars. and also pull away, as Mark is doing right now, but he's going very
but
wide.
He's gone wide as well, yeah.
Not ideal.
Oh, it looks like everybody was going wide just coming out of that,
Yeah,
out of that
not a
corner
lot
anyway.
of track limits respect right there.
So
yeah,
again, he seems to be taking quite wide a line to try and get a good exit, and both MRT cars were really squiggly on that curb, just coming out of the penultimate corner then, so onto the main straight, and it's going to give the guys that have got quite a bit of a gap back, it's going to have a good tow all the way down the straight, up to about 190 miles an hour, or just over 300 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, Oscar's going to be sitting duck
all
down
the way
the
down.
straight.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see if he can defend from his teammate, who seems to look a tiny bit quicker at this stage of the race. Oscar's actually indicating to let him go by.
To let him go.
On the right hand side, so breaking into turn one again, and Mitch moves into second place then, break this going, but it looks like Ozzy might have him back on the exit actually as they go down towards turn two, but he just lets him get ahead. That was a good strategic move from MRT. It looks like these boys are working together at the moment. It looks like Mitch is the quicker driver.
Yeah, double podium at the moment. They really need to work together in order to not allow Mark to pull away massively, because it's already almost 6 seconds, the gap from him to back to Mitch. And really everybody needs to work together to not allow Mark to pull away, because if he continues at this rate, he's, well, maybe going to have a free pit stop, potentially, if they continue to battle back there.
Well, there was contact there between Oscar and Kieran. It seems as they're going through
take a look at
one of the penultimate corners in Sector 3, but Oscar had to go wide there and kind of back out of it, but that's dropped them into the clutches then of the guys behind them. So James at the back of this train then in his Honda is looking to, well, he'll have a fantastic tow down the straight. He might be able to get one or two of them into turn one, as long as he gets a good exit, which he does as well. So I'll ride on board with him and see if
Oscar's
down the
losing
straight.
tow from Mitch. It isn't ideal for him. He's 2 seconds behind. He's going to have no tow from the car head. And
here comes
pulls off
Alexis.
into the side, yeah. Probably going to take this position.
Then again, Oscar has been good into the braking of turn one, so let's see if he can try it around the outside and try and keep that position, but it looks like no, he just won't be able to do it.
It's P3 and double podium for MWPR at the moment. Look at this group, 4 cars, very close together. Mitch is pulling away from them. He's on medium tyres at the moment.
Mitch is doing a good job actually, to be only, the soft tyres are really starting to take its effect, and they've still got good life on them.
Contact, I believe, between Oscar and James, probably Florian. So Florian is actually down to P6 now. He's lost his P5 to James, who's moving up the field.
Yeah, it looked like he was the victim in that. I only caught the back end of that accident, but he definitely was slow for quite a long time. He lost a hell of a lot of ground, so unfortunately he's now 13 seconds off the lead, and at least 2 seconds off James, who's now challenging Ozzy for 4th place now. So the two Hondas battling it out as they go through the final sector then, and Ozzy just doesn't look comfortable on these tyres at the moment. It seems like he's really struggling. He loses 4th place, but then seems to get it back on the exit from James, but he's had a bit of a wiggle.
It's going to be side by
and
side.
Now they're side by side down the straight. So these Hondas then, let's see who's got the most downforce wide into their car as they go down the straight. They're still neck and neck. It seems Ozzy is just getting ahead ever so slightly.
More straight line speed, maybe James is running more downforce potentially.
Yeah, it looks like it is. They're side by side still sticking into the braking zone.
In front of him. He's going to be inside for this corner. James can try the switchback. Nope. Oscar keeps his P4 now. Florian is about to get challenged by Waze actually. He's fallen back from James and he's fallen into the clutches of Waze and this whole group behind. Actually, Waze is pulling away. He's making his soft tyres work. He's 2 seconds ahead of Mike. So, not very good showing from UAL team at the moment. P6, P8, Florian with a promising pole position, but at the moment, probably very disappointed with his P6, not ideal.
Yeah, just looking further down the pack as well, we got Mark Eels, who is on lap 6, so his lap before last he did a 1:38.2, so it was a really long lap for him.
Made a mistake right there.
So actually it looks like he went into the pits, because yeah, he did, so he pitted for the soft tyres, so he's back out now.
Fresh tyres on.
And
doesn't have the full
tank. He's only 3
of fuel.
seconds off Jordan.
He's probably going to do short stints.
Yeah, he didn't take any fuel, did he?
Not refueling fully. Mark is really pulling away. It's 9.4 seconds, the gap back to P2.
Yeah, he's in a bit of a league of his own at the moment. I'm watching Mitch just come down straight now, and Ozzy and James are both at it again, side by side down the straight. It's deja vu from last time round. Let's see who can get it done.
This time James is going to be on the inside.
Can Ozzy try and get the switch back out of it?
Nope.
No, he just doesn't manage to do it, but he's right on his bumper as they go towards turn 2 now. Let's see if they can get it done in the braking. It's a very difficult corner to overtake through this one, and you can see Oscar just losing that downforce a bit as he follows James really closely through there, but just loses out slightly. But it seems like if he can try and just settle down a tiny bit, he can start to close up once again.
Yeah, if you
but
look,
it looks like he's struggling with that Honda at the moment.
Oscar's tyres, it looks like he's overdriving the car, because if you compare his tyre wear to James, for example, James got way better tyres than Oscar, so probably Oscar needs to calm down a little bit, stop being so aggressive on the car, and probably the race is going to come back to him later.
Yeah, interestingly, it's more on the fronts than the rears, and it seems like it looked like to me that Oscar was really struggling, but it seems like his fronts are taking as much of a pounding as his rear tyres are at the moment. But James, just looking at James's, it's really impressive how he's managed to manage his tyres for this, going into lap 9 now, and his tyre wear is barely anything at all.
He's driving,
Yeah, so just looking at the car in front as well, he's on the soft tyre, so he's going to have a lot more wear, but it's still not too bad at all.
Yeah, the gap isn't increasing, actually going down between Mark and Mitch, so probably soft tyres are starting to give up after 10 laps of racing, so maybe it's the time when medium tyres are going to have an advantage over soft tyre runners.
Yeah, absolutely, and actually Mitch on that last lap set his personal best as well, so 125.9, which is only it's a tenth quicker actually than what Mark did on the last lap, so it looks like the tyres may be starting to turn a bit, even though the lap before and Mark did set the purple lap, the fastest lap of the race so far, 125.1, so he may be starting to have a turning point in the tyres.
Looking a little bit back down the field, I believe. No, Waste.
Jordan's just made a pit stop, so Jordan's back out in 12th place, but with a fresh set of softs on, so he'll be looking to make some moves, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably undercut is the way to go, because I'm watching Waste right now, and he's down to P9 after being P7, probably, and his soft tyres are really not in the great condition at the moment. He's got Steve right behind him, probably going to be overtaken on the main straight. So yeah, probably it's time for soft runners to go for the undercut. Well, actually Mark just increased his gap to the second place by half a second on this lap. And just to remind you, we've got a point for fastest lap, an additional point for fastest lap and pole position. So Florian is already got 1 point for
he's the championship leader at the moment.
Yeah. And at the moment Mark is holding the fastest lap with a 25.1, so drivers really, I think they really want to go for the fastest lap, especially with the point system being 10 points to 1, so a couple of points, additional points, apart from your finishing position, can really play a major role in the overall standings.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we'll see drivers probably more towards the end of the race when they're low on fuel as well start to go for that fastest lap and try and get that extra point, especially if they're not battling anybody. They'll be trying to see if they can get that extra point and take that fastest way away from Mark, but it is a quick lap, that 125.1.
Actually,
for a race lap indeed.
Oscar lost another position to Florian now, so Oscar's down to P6 at the moment, with Florian back up into P5.
Yeah, it does. Maybe it's time for Oscar to look at maybe switching up the strategy a tiny bit, because he has got quite a few cars in front of him. They're around the 2.5 to 3 second gap, and you can make that up with a few good laps on a soft tyre. So running around on the mediums doesn't seem to be suiting him too well at the moment, so we may see him coming into the pits and putting a new set of soft tyres on.
It's quite a big group forming at the moment, from P2 all the way to P7.
Yeah, I was just watching Mitch down straight there, and there's a long train of cars behind him all the way down. And as you were saying, to P7, where we've got MK Born in the German driver in his Nissan.
Yep.
It's always, he has a big wiggle actually coming out of turn 1, getting on that AstroTurf, but manages to recover it. But an Aussie there just going off the track slightly as he comes through turn 2, but manages to get away with it as well. So people are starting to struggle on these mediums, it looks like, as well.
Yeah. surprisingly a pretty clean race at the moment. No incidents to report right now, and we are almost 20 minutes into racing. So 1/3 of the race is over. I'm really curious how an aggressive pit strategy from Jordan, for example, or Mike are going to work out, because they aren't with the pack at the moment, but they're getting very fast. And
oh yeah, last time I looked at Mike, he was 3 seconds away. Now he's under 1 second from Waze, so it looks like they're going to be catching them definitely down, potentially down the main straight, and then going into turn 1, they've got a lot better. Well, actually, just looking at Mike's tyres, they're a lot fresher than what Waze's are, and he's already onto the back of him in the Honda. So let's see if he can try and challenge him down into turn 1.
Yeah, visually,
actually, Stephen just ahead of him on the mediums as well. So, Wade's looking to make grounds on Stephen.
Some pit stops. Yep. We've got Joe.
Yeah, it's Joe into the pits. Yeah. So he's the first to blink out the mid runners. Then really, it looks like Waze is trying to make a move down on Stephen into turn 1. There. It was a good effort, but just didn't manage to get it done. But now he's got Mike Hills in the yellow Nissan just behind him to try and capitalise on that, but it looks like Waze is still up the inside of him going into turn 2. Very close indeed.
Bollards on track, I hope it doesn't get in the way of people, because
I know what happened to them staying where they are on the floppy bollards, but clearly it doesn't apply for this track.
Yeah, only the green ones are floppy ones. Orange ones, yeah, they're not floppy.
Okay. So Waze has actually just been overtaken by Jordan and Mike Eels, and both of them are fresh tyres.
Oh
yeah, he's fighting back, yeah.
He's on the inside. And yeah, stays behind.
Jordan goes around the outside and gets the job done, so that's a very good move. Actually, Jordan, just saying that, has just got the fastest lap of the race a few laps ago as well, so 1:24.8.
Definitely a dark horse in this race with the early pit stop. If he doesn't get caught in the traffic too much, as well as Mike, they might be the ones to watch out late in the race, especially once people ahead pit.
It'd be good to see these guys working together. It looks like Stephen's going to come into the pit as well. So Stephen in the Nissan GTR coming into the pit lane, then nicely does it into the pit lane, and he'll be changing for a short set of stops.
Struggle on his medium tyres as he's being caught by Kieran. The gap was around 1.5 seconds. Now it's only down to 7/6. So surprisingly enough, softs are very worn on Kieran's car and Mark's car, but they're still, at this point of the race, faster than mediums. So probably the hardest strategy going on mediums wasn't the best call, because we can see Mark already almost 12 seconds ahead of P2. He's running away with this race, and Kieran making his way up the field. I unfortunately do not remember where he started, but still, it's P3 for him right now. He's catching Mish, dropping back a little bit through the middle sector due to dirty air probably, but he's going to be catching down the straight. James is close behind, not in the attacking range just yet, but still just over 1 second behind Kieran. Florian is actually in the striking range of James, I believe.
He is, yeah. James had a bit of a wiggle just coming out the last corner. It seems like James, I think he'll be chancing it a bit because it's a long way back still, but could potentially look to try and make a move going into turn 1. He's doing 190 miles an hour as he brakes.
Mike,
turn 1.
MK Born is overtaking Oscar, and he's got him on the braking, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep, into P6 he goes. Oscar just keeps falling down the field. Maybe it's just tyres, maybe, I don't know, maybe not the perfect setup.
Yeah, his tyres are probably the most worn out of anybody. Is he? Oh, I don't know if there was. No, there wasn't any contact there, but MK Bourne just chucking it into turn 2 and making sure that Oscar got off his back a tiny bit, but still Oscar seems to be going quite aggressive and trying to challenge and get that place back, but it seems like it's just starting to slip away from him ever so slightly.
Yeah, he was battling for P2 at some point. He was in P2 at some point, but now he's down in P7. It's not great. It's going to be very difficult for him to recover from this position.
Yeah, but he's got a nice healthy gap back now to the guys, but the next ones are going to be the guys that have already pitted on soft tyres, such as Jordan and
James is very close to Kieran.
He's
going to be in the striking range on this straight. Going out of the final corner. James is going to be in the slipstream. Let's go on board with him.
I'm surprised. It looks like Kieran's in the pits, so I thought Kieran would have tried and latched back onto the back of Mitch and try and get a bit of a tow there, but it seems like his tensions were to pit anyway, so he comes in first of the soft tyre change.
Probably it's very wise from Kieran to go into the pits right now, because he was in a very close group of 4 cars, and starting to battle isn't ideal if you want to look into the race long perspective. So he's gonna come out maybe in clear air. Let me check. He's coming out of the busy. Yep, he's got clear air ahead of him.
Well, I don't know. He's going to be challenged by Joe a tiny bit as they come into turn 1, but Joe's gone slightly wide, so I think he's going to be, as soon as you get them soft tyres up to temperature, he's going to be absolutely fine. But he's now got a 6-second back to Mike Eels, so it looks like the guys who pitted early and bolting them soft tyres on, they are starting to make a lot of progress, and it looks like Jordan and Mike are working together now as well to try and close that gap back up. It's only 9 seconds to Aussie now, who's yet to pit.
Yeah, let's see if Mark
it looks like they'll be making gains
to Kieran's pit stop, or if he stays out. He's staying out. Okay, he's got pretty good tyre wear, and he's still pulling away from Mitch.
Yeah, even though his last lap was slowest that he's done so far for Mark. It was a 1:27.5, so it was quite far off what he's been doing for the last few laps, where he's been very close to the 120. Well, in the 126s and 125s. Yeah, Florian in the pits as well now.
Driver is making his pit stop first of the race, I believe.
So that promotes everybody then, so Aussie's up into P5 once again, with Jordan now gap only 8 seconds, so it's coming down every lap it seems, as Jordan's still on those soft tyres and making... Oh, as he nearly got hit up the back there by Mike Hills, actually braked slightly late, but it seems like them two are still trying to make some progress and get on and try and chase the leaders back down. So Mark's lead is now stabilised at around the 12-second mark, so it seems like the crossover point is there, where the softs are now slower than the mediums that have just got a bit more tyre wear.
Oh yeah, something happened to James. He's dropped a second on this lap to Mitch. And his tyre wear is actually better than Mitch's, just a little bit, but...
His front right is still surprisingly good, comparing how many, strong right-handers there are on the circuit, but obviously the left-hand side is what takes the pounding.
Staying out. I wonder if he's going to be able to do one stop on this race, because we are almost down to half of the race distance remaining, and he's yet to pit. He's surely going to make it on fuel, because we started on 50%, and he's done almost 27 minutes of racing on this one tank of fuel. So with this gap, it's coming down a little bit, but I wonder if he's going to be able to pull one stop off.
Yeah, I think it's easily doable, because he's still lapping. His last lap was a 1:26, which is the same as pretty much what it was a few laps ago. Oh yeah, so Mike's in the pits again. I wonder why he's done that. He must have... I don't know if he's underfueled the car slightly, or if he just didn't get on with that soft tyres, but he's back in the pits again, and that's given Jordan a bit of free air now to try and crack on and catch the leading pack. So the gap's now down to only 6 seconds to Aussie now, so it's coming down at the rate of 2 seconds a lap. Aussie's lap time's being the 1:27s at the moment, whereas Jordan's
very wide.
last was a 1:25.
Not ideal. And he's being catched by Jordan massively. Jordan pulled 3 seconds over the course of I think it's 2 laps, but still it's a massive
gain. Yeah, last 2 laps, yeah. So, but Jordan's going for the aggressive strategy, and Oscar still can play it safe here and just be nice and consistent.
Jordan
he should be able
is at the moment ahead of Florian. So what we were talking about, Jordan's aggressive strategy working out, it's actually worked out at the moment. He's ahead of Florian. Yes, he's on all the tyres, but he's got 3.5 seconds gap back to him. So it might really work for him. Yeah,
absolutely. He still doesn't seem like the tyre wear's really punishing him at the moment. I think Mark will definitely be on the next stop, because there's no point of keeping these
at the moment
he's more than he needs to, unless he feels he's still got life in them, which he clearly has at the moment. But it looks nice and settled as he comes through the middle sector. And then Mitch is doing a good job as well. His lap times were quicker than Mark last time around. So only by a tenth or so, but still it's pretty good. And then there's James, who again is very, very close to Mitch on his lap times. So.
Oh, actually, Kieran lost his position to Joe. Joe on soft tyres.
Oh yeah, I'm just watching that now. So
yeah.
Looks like Joe on the soft tyres. Obviously, he's got quite a bit more grip in those softs, and he's got a good bit of life in them. So it looks like he's making progress at the moment. But let's see if Kieran can just stay on the back of him and see if he can just try and tow him along for a bit and maybe save some fuel as well. But I was just looking at the fuel that Kieran's put in. He's put nearly a full tank in the car, which don't really need to do. So that might suggest why he's dropped so far back. He spent so long in the pit lane filling up that car.
Much.
It's going to be a lot heavier, isn't it?
Heavier, yeah. Than others around.
So Mitch is in the pit lane now as well.
So he's actually pitted earlier than Mark.
Yeah, and Mark stayed out again. So we've got loads of people in the pit lane now. Yeah, so we've got both MLT drivers in. And then so Mitch is onto the softs now.
Half tank of fuel.
So let's see if Mitch can do the same as what Mark has done and do half an hour on these set of softs. It's going to be difficult, but I'm sure.
I think now Mark really needs to respond, because now he's on very, very worn soft tyres and Mitch is on fresh softs. He's going to be catching Mark massively.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mark's going to be out on their mediums as well, so he's going to be a lot slower than these guys at the moment on their soft tyres. So it's definitely not over for the win here either. It's really close between.
Mitch for P4, just keeps his position for now.
Mitch did a good job there, just winding out the steering and letting the car roll out wide and getting the power down and able to hold on to that fourth place for the moment. But these guys really almost need to work together if they want a chance at the win.
Response to people stopping.
Okay, so in comes to the pits. He's done a good job on them tyres though to make them last over 30 minutes.
Okay, let's see if James responds. Oh, he's staying out. It's probably going to promote him up into P1.
I think actually it'll be close on exit, for James and Mark. So let's see Mark if he gets out of the pit lane, if he's still refueling the cars.
Yeah, he's still
James
in the pits.
is going
probably
into turn
Jordan
1.
is always going to jump him, because Mark is still. He's just coming out, and it's going to be close between him and Jordan. Now really Jordan's too far behind.
Yeah, so Mark gets out and he's got to...
Oh, Mark is again on soft tyres again, look at this.
Oh, right.
So
okay, that's interesting.
He definitely needs to make another stop to use mediums. Well, that's
I don't understand why he's done that.
Yeah, if you did half a race in softs, you can easily do another half a race in mediums. And he also puts almost the full tank.
I'm guessing because there's no minimum lap of how many laps you can do on the medium. He's going to do another stint on the softs that he knows he can do because he just did it, and then just a lap before the end of the race, just put on a set of mediums and doesn't need to fuel either. Even though Mark's put a hell of a lot of fuel in the car as well to.
Yeah, he's much heavier than other cars around, and he really needs to push in this case because he's going to make another stop when, for example, Mitch. He's good to go to the end. As well as Jordan, I believe, but he's got very worn soft tyres, so he's going to be pitting soon, I imagine.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that Mark's put so much fuel in the car and spend maybe a few more seconds than he needed to in that.
Yeah, he's actually being caught by Jordan, who's on very, very old soft tyres, purely because of the weight of the car with so much fuel on board.
Yeah, but it looks like Jordan's in a rhythm now as well. Just looking at his previous laps, they've all been within 6 or 7 tenths of each other, so over the course of 10 laps it's pretty impressive, so it's nice consistency from Jordan.
MK Bourne takes away fastest lap from Jordan with a new fast lap of the race, 24.7.
And now Mitch and Florian are very, very close as well, so it looks like those guys are still pretty much glued together and trying to catch Jordan, who's going to be on the older tyres now, so the gap's definitely going to be coming down, especially through this middle sector. Also brake into turn 5, and Jordan doing a really good job in that Lexus so far. He's done a very mature race and kind of done his own thing.
Yep,
it's working out for him at the moment.
I believe we've got battle for P9. Yeah, Kieran dropped way off. He was almost challenging Mitch at some point, and he's now in P9 when Mitch is in P4. It's probably the amount of fuel he put in and the fight he was having with Joe, and now he's under pressure from Steve, so it wasn't the best of decisions for him probably to put that much fuel in. He's under pressure from Steve. Steve's right on his rear bumper, probably going to have a look into turn 1 once they go into the main straight. Someone's in the pits.
So Jordan's pitted again for his soft tyre. Well, is he going to go for another set of softs? Let's have a look. He's putting some fuel in the car as well.
Kieran into the pits again. Look at this.
Oh.
Wow. That's just...
Wow, okay.
He
was close to the wall on the way in, but he gets rid of them. He didn't do hardly any laps on them. How many laps did he do on the mediums? He did.
Yeah, he's probably going to go on softs, but still he's so far behind.
Well, he's just come out in front of, well, just behind Jordan then. So Jordan and Kieran both going out on the soft tyres with quite a lot of fuel in them to try and get them to the end of the race. And Jordan's actually put maximum fuel in the car when he's only got 20 minutes left, so that's a bit.
Yeah, I'm
strange
confused
as well.
why drivers putting so much fuel.
Yeah,
in.
I don't know why people are. We only had half fuel to start the race, and they didn't even need to. They could.
And
pit
James is
well
still
after
going
halfway.
on this tank. He's yet to pit. He's done 23 laps on this tank of fuel.
Yeah, and look at his lap times as well. They're really still. Every single one's been in the 126 so far. So
yeah, it's very consistent.
really consistent.
I believe he's gonna pull into the pits. No, not yet. Mark is very close behind him. He's been catching him this whole time.
Yeah.
In fresh softs.
Mark's gonna catch him within probably a lap or so. If James, I'm guessing as soon as. I think James's strategy is as soon as Mark catches him, he's going to go into the pits. I'm just looking at Mark's gearing, and it's very, very high. So he's actually only using 5th down the straight. He's not even going into 6th gear.
Oh wow!
Which is really interesting.
It's going to be hard for him to lose fuel then, because he's not going to be being in high revs a lot.
Yeah, it's an interesting
he just
tactic.
gained half a second in 2 corners compared to James.
Yeah. But then we've got warm mediums versus a fresh set of softs, so you're going to expect that kind of repercussions. Mark goes slightly wide out turn 4 but gets away with it.
I believe Mark can make it work, but he's only 3 seconds ahead of Mitch, and he's not pulling away, and Mitch is good to go to the end when Mark is gonna make another stop, at least for tyres.
Yeah, and it's a long pit lane down here as well. It does take a long time to stop, so I think Mark, he needs to get past James and then pull a really, really good stint out to try and then just pull into the pits with I don't know what you'd need, about 10 seconds or so at least for a stop.
Yeah.
And then you've still got to have that, and then the time to actually pull away. So he's
going to pits.
I think James will.
Not.
Is James going to pull in? No, he's not. So Mark's then got a tow all the way down this straight as he pulls out to the inside to try and take James. It seems pretty easy for him. James goes in 6th gear, whereas Mark's now in 6th. Now he's got the tow down the straight.
6th gear.
Onto the brakes, and James is hanging on to it. Mark goes deep actually. So James gets the undercut and goes back up the inside of him as he goes side by side down to turn 2. Let's see, Mark's got the inside line, and I think it's going to be pretty easy for him. But James is on the outside and got the ideal line, but Mark just sweeps through on the inside there, so great move for Mark.
He's playing into Mitch's favour a lot. He's gained he's gained 1 second during this altercation between Mark and James. Mark, he needed to get past James much more quicker than he did actually.
Yeah,
because
and just looking at James's fuel as well, James pretty much has to pit this lap. If you're looking at his fuel, he's got nothing in the tank, so he's got a really light car.
Yeah.
But no tyres left, and that's what's really causing him to drop back down the orders. And Mitch goes slightly wide in background, but manages to recover it. But still, he's brought that gap down. I mean, his last lap. Look at the last laps he was doing. He was a 10th off the quickest lap of the race. So he's done a 1:24.8, and then a 1:25. So a quick couple of laps.
I think this little group right here, Mitch, Florian and Mike, are the provisional top 3 at the moment. With James pitting right now, he's into the pits, and Mark having to stop at least once more.
But look at Florian now, look at Florian.
Oh, he's very close to Mitch, yeah, it's right on board. He pulls
out
to
the inside. Oh, Mitch is defending well though as he goes into the inside. It looks like they're going to be potentially side on exit. Florian gave him room on the exit, which is nice for him. Mitch still hangs it round the outside, and we'll have the
from him.
Yeah, have the line into turn 2. So that was a good run from Mitch. He just kept his cool and didn't make any silly mistakes and kept that position. So it's going to be very difficult to try and pass in this sector.
It really isn't what these drivers need. They need to work together and make sure that Mark doesn't pull away. They need to make sure that they stick together, yeah.
Yeah, it's still at about 3 seconds or so, so it's not doing too badly. You've got to remember, Mark's got a really heavy car as well, and has to pit by the end of the race. So I think with, you know, the tyre wear, it's slightly more for Mitch, but only just, and he's got a much lighter car. So Mark is doing a good job at the moment, you know, driving-wise, of keeping that car out front, because it will be difficult to drive being the heavier car at the moment with the fuel. But I don't think Mark is going to win this race, you know.
It's going to be very difficult for him. He really needs to put the hammer down right now and try to pull away from this group and make
you
up
look at
the whole pit stop.
his last lap especially, it was a 126.2. It was a second off where it really needs to be. He needs to be in the low 125s. And he does a personal best actually, 124.8. Now he's cleared the other cars, but still
it's very
Mitch
close
is,
between these three. Mitch is being caught by Florian, who's being caught by Mike. Florian goes down the inside and the braking.
Yeah, it was carbon copy almost the last time.
Yeah, but this time he's got better traction.
I think Mitch is still going to tag it though.
There. Yeah.
It's a good line. I think because of the gradient coming out of turn 1, the car gets a bit more momentum.
Great
and you're able to just hang it around the outside, and Mitch defends there really, really well. He's also got MK Bourne just behind him.
It's a very close
he's
battle,
getting into that battle as well.
We also got Oscar being caught by James with a fresh softs when Oscar did a lot of laps on his current compound. I'm gonna look back at this once James catches up more. For now, Florian is actually under pressure from his teammate. Not ideal, probably.
It is for us, yeah, for MRT it's ideal, and it's allowed Mitch to get about a second gap now actually. He goes slightly wide, but it doesn't matter too much, and it looks like the main battle is going to be third down the straight, with Florian getting a small toe off Mitch, but it's not going to be to the same effect it was a few laps before.
Yeah, MK Bourne is way closer to Florian than Florian is to Mitch.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see if MK Bourne can try and. Well, it looks like the gap's pretty stagnant actually.
It's actually staying the same. He's actually losing time a little bit. No, it's staying the same.
It's about the same, isn't it? So it depends on what kind of aero they're running down the straight. But Florian is close to Mitch coming down into the braking zone, but isn't close enough this time around, and that may allow Mitch this time, now that he hasn't got any hassle behind him, to try and extend his lead through this. Well, extend the lead on the pack through this middle sector, as it seems that the Honda is good through the middle sector of the lap.
Yeah, main thing is that Mark is not pulling away.
No, he's only pulled 0.5 a second or so, hasn't he, in the last few laps? So it's just not enough. Just not enough.
He needs at least 10 seconds for the pit stop, and at the moment he's not doing it.
He pulled enough. You know, he did that whole first stint to then go back onto the softs. I just, you know, it's great to watch and for the battle and for the race, but I just can't see how he could justify it when he knew the mediums were going to last to the end.
Yeah. Maybe he was afraid of being in mediums when the rest of the pack behind him would have been in softs, but still, I don't know. He also lost a lot of time, but by putting so much fuel in the car.
Yeah. Maybe some of these boys need to sit with a calculator by the side of them so they can calculate how many laps they've got to the end of the race. We've only got 17 minutes to go in this race as well, so it's gone pretty quickly.
I wonder what happened, because James dropped off massively from Oscar. He's 12 seconds behind.
Oh yeah, he's back with Kieran and all the rest of them. Actually, there's a great battle going on.
Yeah, his lap 26 is 1 minute 46.6. Either he pitted or he made a massive mistake right there.
Well, there's some cars going side by side down the straight for 9th place. We got Jordan versus Joe Bramble, then going down the straight, going into turn 1. They will be shortly, and a few other cars behind. We've got Stephen and Mike Eels as well.
Jordan pulls out the right hand side and the inside for the first corner.
Yeah. These two have been pretty much glued together pretty much most of the race, as they're having a great battle. It looks like they went on similar strategies.
Great job.
Oh, but Joe's
sticking
looking
there.
like he's going to get him down on the inside. So, carbon copy of what we've seen this move many times before. Joe goes to the inside. It was a good move from Joe there, but let's see if Jordan can respond. He seems like he's been keeping his head in this race, Jordan.
Let's see if I can get the replay of the overtake. Nope, unfortunately not. But he moves into P2 with Mitch into P3. So I still think this P2 for Florian is effectively P1 in the race.
Yeah, and it looks like they're gonna. Yeah, he's just going defensive down the straight. It looked like he was potentially going for the pit lane there, but he wasn't. And it looks like
defend the inside very wise.
Mitch can have him back. They're reaching. Yeah, about 300 k's an hour as they come into the braking zone. Let's see who's last. Mitch has done this around the outside before, so let's see if he can do it again. He's just a bit too far back and doesn't manage to do it.
Defended the inside and pushed him to the way, all the way to the left. Defended his position.
It seems like those Hondas just seem to struggle in a straight line, whereas the Nissans have just got a tiny bit more top end, it seems, but we don't really know what downforce they're running either, so that does play a massive factor, especially with these GT500 cars. And now it looks like MK Bourne's starting to attack Mitch as well.
Probably for overtake on Jordan. No, Jordan stays in P9 for now.
Yeah, but that's a great train there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very close group with Joe, Kieran, Jordan, Steve and Mike. They're very close together.
Yeah.
Joe has recently stopped. He's got very fresh soft tyres on. Kieran's tyres are pretty old.
Yeah, just looking back, Mark Eels and Stephen have both got pretty much fresh set of softs on. Waze has dropped a bit further back. He's 20 seconds back off the next car, unfortunately. But Mark, that gap from Mark is still 3.5 seconds to
back to Mitch. In the toe.
Well, to Florian, yeah. Let's see if Mitch can do anything here. So it does seem the car's just, when they're right at the top end, you can see it now, the car's closing in massively as they close down into turn 1. Let's see if Mitch can try and make a move.
Better with it.
No, it was just a bit too far back there, wasn't he? Unable to make any ground on Florian.
Yeah, I think it's gone very south for Marcus. He's not pulling away. The gap is staying around 3.5, 3.6. And he needs the gap to make a pit stop, additional pit stop. At the moment, he's not pulling away. So, with the huge gap he had in the first...
I can see him back and forth. You know, I think he'll be in fourth. He won't even be on the podium at this rate.
Yeah,
he needs
miscalculation on strategy.
Yeah. And it's a real shame for him. He led, he looked dominant the first half of the race. It looked like he just couldn't go wrong for him. Mitch has gone wide, and it looks like
big slide from
MK Bourne. Yeah. Oh, he just hangs around the outside and managed to do that. Just really, really lucky. He gave him the space, but now it looks like MK Bourne back up the inside.
It's a little bit of
door banging, a bit of contact, and it does get through to him. But then we've got the long straight coming up where the Honda can try and attack back.
Florian is actually gaining the mark. He gains a 10th.
Yeah, but it looks like Mitch is starting to struggle a bit on these tyres now, and he's got the Nissan just behind him, so pulls to the right hand side, and it looks pretty easy pickings now as they come down the straight, really, really close together. But look at that Nissan down the straight; it just absolutely leaves the Honda, and getting back onto the inside. Let's see if Mitch can do anything back onto the inside. Oh no, just closes the door on him there. So it looks like effectively that will be for second place really later on in the race if Mark has to pit again for his mediums.
For ILR team at the moment, very solid from them.
Yeah, they've done a fantastic job.
If it's gonna be better for Mitch to pit now, really quick pit stop for another set of softs, to go away from this battle they're having at the moment, to not lose more time. Pit right now for fresh set of tyres. Yeah, probably.
Do you think how many laps are left though? You've only got about probably 8 or 9 laps to go. With the 12 minutes, you got probably 8 laps. So you've got to come in, do a pit stop, and then be at least a second a lap quicker. And MK Bourne just going off in the background there and rejoining.
Joe has gotten ahead of Kieran. Let's bring up. Nope, unfortunately no replay of that. But Joe is into P7, very solid, starting from P12 on the grid, and Kieran is falling back at the moment. And actually, Mike into P9, up into 9, overtook Steve.
It's a shame we don't have It's a shame we don't have an overlay to watch this battle for 7th place a bit further back, because they're having this group of 4 with Joe and
behind, yeah.
Lewis and all that lot, they're having a cracking battle just behind. So it looks like Stevens trying to...
Oh, it's actually MK Bonus in the pits. So he's making it... That's what I was talking about. Maybe this is the way to go. To make an additional stall, because during this lap, Mitch and Florian are going to miss out massively, because
and it's only only a 6-second gap, so really Mark, if he brings out another 2 seconds, Mark could do this.
Well, at the moment, the gap between MK Born and Mark, 11 seconds, so it's almost the time of the pit stop, but Mike is going to be catching them all up at the moment. It's down to 10.8 at the moment, so yeah. I think Mark needs to pit now, like right now. Go into mediums.
But then he's not going to be that quick on medium, so is he just going to, you know, these softs at this rate, they're still going to be quicker than what mediums are, I think. So I think he's still going to stick with this strategy of literally pitting on the last lap. But well, what I think is his strategy, but it's going to be so hard. He's made it difficult for himself. He had it in the bag, and it looks like he potentially may have thrown it away. But you never know. Mark can pull something out of the bag, and he's got that gap out to around 3.8, so he has extended it.
I think his major mistake was putting the full tank
no,
of
there's Kieran's and Florian's in the wall. So Florian is in the wall. We'll see if we can get a replay of that, Iggy, if you can, because it did happen really recently. But it looks like he's thrown it away. Mitch is now back up into second place.
Florian wasn't in P2, just lost it on the AstroTurf.
And he's now going into the pit lane.
Oh,
so he's
that's
thrown
a hard
that away.
hit for Florian. Yeah, it was a solid P2. He's in the pits for fresh tyres.
And he could have won. That could have been a win for him. Absolutely thrown away.
Could have stayed out. Yeah, wait for Mark to pit. We've got less than 10 minutes of racing. Oh, Mark.
He gets 11 seconds to his teammate. That cost him 12 seconds. That did.
Yeah, that was a big mistake from him. It's a very close battle for P7. Between Kieran goes down the inside of Joe. Joe very. I know it was Kieran very deep into the braking.
Yeah, it was late on the brakes, and Joe was able to get him back on the exit. But it was a strong move. You know, he made the intentions quite known, and there was no contact. Looks like Mark Eels is trying to challenge on Kieran now as well, but doesn't manage to do so. But yeah, that was a strong move from Kieran there.
But a little bit too coming in too hot, losing his position right back, and he's really under pressure from Mike Isles at the moment.
So Mark's now just back to the leaders. Mark's got his gap out of 5 seconds or so, so he's starting to pull away now. But the last laps are quite similar.
Yeah, I'm still watching this battle for P8 at the moment because it's very
close.
Definitely,
it's worth it. Yeah, because I'm just watching the front at the moment. They are all still spaced out, so I'll keep you updated on the gaps, but it's pretty spaced out.
James is right behind Oscar at the moment, but yeah, Oscar made his stop and he's good to go until the end, and he's got fresher tyres than James, so I think he's going to be able to keep this P5 position for the moment. Going back to
all this, so it looks like
Kieran is in the pits.
Kieran's back in the pit lane, so how many stops has Kieran made now?
Third stop,
must have made at least 3.
Steve is going for the move on Mike. Mike is going to be on the inside to defend his position.
He's going to go wide though, and there's going to be a massive run, and actually he gets a whack up the pack from Stephen, and it kind of propels him down into turn 2. But yeah, it was a bit of a clumsy move there from Stephen. He could have timed it a tiny bit better and moved out to the outside and potentially taken Mike on the inside, which would have been, but still they're really close together now as they come through.
Oscar is going purple at the moment. He's got the purple first sector, green second sector. I'm still waiting.
He's only a 10th up or so.
Yeah, when Mark is going to pit. He's doing it right now. Yep, Mark is in the pits. He's going to go
now we've got a new
mediums.
Yeah, let's see how this goes.
Mitch is going to go into the lead with Mike. Well, Mike is going to take him. He's on fresh softs.
And he's just done a new fastest lap of the race, 1:24.4.
for Mitch to defend it.
He's going to go down the inside. He thinks better of it at the moment. It's still 6.5
Mark's right there. Look at him.
Race.
He's right behind him. He's only 1.5 second behind MK Ball at the moment.
But he's on the medium tyres. We've got a battle for the lead.
Yeah, it's going to be a sprint until the end. MK Ball is on the inside. Yeah, he's got superior grip. He's going to take the lead from Mitch. Well, actually,
tell you what, Mitch has really kept his head during this race, though, hasn't he? He's you know, he fell back slightly, but was really consistent and brought himself back up into contention.
Yeah,
Mark's just there, but he's on those medium tyres, and just look at the tyre wear that Mitch has got. Unfortunately, he's just going to be a sitting duck for Mark, I think, but definitely MK Bourne's played his cards right and pitted nice and early.
Yeah, I believe Mitch should have answered and pitted when
absolutely,
MK Bourne pitted.
He might still do that though, because he could still potentially take Mark back on his soft, so it might be worth just going in and just pitting now. He's got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
He knows that the car in front is going to be quicker anyway, so he might as well get onto them softs and try and catch back up to Mark. And you know, because there's a nice healthy gap back to 4th place, so it's a guaranteed podium at least. And all he can lose is effectively, you know, 3rd place. So he might as well try it. But it looks like he's going to stay out for this last 5 minutes. It'll be about three or 4 laps maybe, and see if he can hang on with the car behind him on medium tyres. So as they go on to lap 36 then of we're probably going to get to
slowly there. Florian is going slowly for some reason. Let me look at the replay. He's in P4. Same place. Exit of the final corner. Ashtotov. Spinning again.
That's so disappointing for him. He drove a great race beforehand, but unfortunately, the last few laps have just he's lost his head a tiny bit.
Yeah, what a roller coaster of the race for him. He started on pole, down to P6, back into P2, effectively P1 with Mark having to pit, and now back to P6 again. Yeah,
so our pole sitter then not having a good first race in the championship, and I'm sure he'll come back stronger. Obviously, they've got the pace, and in the team especially, those guys looked set for a 1-2, and unfortunately, it's just damn AstroTurf getting the best of him.
Yeah, Mark's going to be
close. We all know the feeling. We've all been there.
yeah, definitely.
So then, let's see what Mark can do here. He's definitely going to be in the tow going down the straight on Mitch. Let's see if he's got tyres. Obviously, fresh tyres, and against Mitch, I think it's going to be really hard to hold off Mark, who seems pretty confident on this set of tyres.
He's not gaining much, to be honest. He's probably not going to.
No, but it's just when it starts to make the difference now into the braking zone, and you can see Mark visually closing up there.
Yeah.
And, let's see if Mitch can hold him off. He's going to have to do some earn his salt from the MLT boys to try and pull this off.
Keeping very wide out of the final corner. Back on track. Oh, Mark is right on the rear bumper of Mitch. He's got the better run out of this corner. A little bit wide. Probably going to go down the inside if Mitch doesn't defend. Oh, what a dive from Mark.
Whoa.
A little bit of a contact.
I think he has to try and just give that place back and try again, even though he's trying again pretty much immediately as Mitch goes just around the outside, manages to just fend him off for the moment. Mark's trying to get that wide line to get cut back, just going into the next corner.
Probably 2 laps, maybe 3 of racing left. Mitch can just hold on a little bit more, but he's going to be very vulnerable on this straight with Mark right behind him in the slipstream. He had a
big wiggle coming out the final corner. Mark is pulling out to the right hand side to try and get the inside into turn 1, but it looks like he's pretty much going to be already there.
Almost against the wall.
It looks like pretty much they're both side by side. They're going to be into the braking zone. Let's see who brakes latest. It's Mitch, but then Mitch is going to go quite deep into the corner. Can he try and hide it around the outside of Mitch? Mark got all the way over the curb.
Look at the difference from Mitch. We expect Mark to go past Mitch pretty easily, but he's struggling to do it at the moment.
Yeah, what happened with Mark, it looked like his car just bottomed out on the curb, which sometimes happened, and the car just went sideways, lost all his momentum, and then Mitch was able to retake that position, but that was a bit of a lifeline for Mitch. He's got an extra lap to try and defend him off, and looks like Mark's pretty much straight back on him again after those last few corners where the tyres really do take their toll, and Mitch is really struggling now with that set of softs.
Yeah,
but look how much fuel Mark's got. He's got another half a tank. He could have done another half hour.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it was a
really,
big mistake from
you know,
him to put that much
how
fuel
much?
in.
How much? Well, actually, I'm just looking at MK Bourne's fuel. He hasn't got enough fuel potentially to get to the end of the race, has he? I mean,
I believe he
just
did,
looking now,
because
has he got
your
enough?
indicator starts flashing when you're under 10%, but I believe
I think
he's
he's going
still
to stay
got...
out. He'll be able to just do this lap. He's got one lap to go. We're on the
Oh,
final.
Mark is
Well, we're going to
actually
be on
up
the
into
final
P2.
race.
Let's bring the replay of the overtake I just missed. Probably was done going into final corner. And Mitch is very slow on those old soft tyres. Yeah, Mark
But it looks like Mitch is going to try and come back at him into turn one. He's got the toe, so let's see
dives
if...
down the inside for the final corner. Yeah, very great and aggressive move.
Mitch trying to go around the outside of Mark.
Mitch trying to do everything he can to keep this second position, but probably going to fall short. Yep, sticks behind, and Mark is back up into P2. But I'm still convinced that he lost his win. There was
absolutely.
his race to take.
That win was in the bag. He probably got 7.5 seconds worth of fuel just there sitting in his car that he'd been really annoyed with. But yeah, as a strategy, he tried it. It didn't work out for him, and we've seen it work in WEC and stuff like that. So it was worthy going for that strategy.
Down the inside of James for P5.
Oh yeah, you're quite right.
Behind for now. Oscar is actually with a very solid P4 recovery from P7 at some point during the race.
Yeah, his second stint was a lot better than his first. And James getting all squiggly.
He's gonna come to the finish line. It's gonna be the end of this race. Takes the win. Very solid win. Very good on the strategy. Flashing his lights, weaving.
Yeah.
It's P1. Mark is gonna come home for P2, probably disappointed with the opportunity for P1. Mitch very solid at the end, just falling short of P2. Finishing on the final step of the podium. Oscar across the line for P4. Florian is gonna get P5 with James P6 on the line. Should just go there.
Florian's going to be disappointed with that. I think it was his race to win. I think at the end of the day, and threw it away.
Oh, this! Oh no!
Oh yeah, what's happening in the background? Oh,
yeah, I thought there was a move.
About.
Yeah. Mike P9.
So we've got
Kieran P10, Jordan P11. A little bit disappointed, must he be, because he was in P3 at some point, and we expected him to be right up there with the front runners with his aggressive early stop.
It was just too many pit stops, I think. Him and
Kieran,
and Kieran, they made 3 stops between them, whereas the leaders only had to really make 1 or 2. So it's a shame for them.
P12, good qualifying, was solid in the race. Probably a miscalculation on the strategy, and he finishes last. There's your full race results. MK Bourne taking the win. The first round of UAL STM with the fastest lap as well, so he's gonna get 11 points, 10 for P1 and 1 point for his fastest lap. Let's quickly take a look at the race results, and we're gonna round up this stream. Thank you, Callum, for joining me. That was
no problem.
Very great commentating with you.
That was a fantastic race, though, wasn't it? We had everything really. We had strategy, we had on-track battles.
Yep. A little bit of drama
fuel
as well.
really came into play, so it was a fantastic race. Can't wait for the next one.
Yep. Same on my side. Thank you guys, everyone, for joining, and we will see you next time in 2 weeks' time in Monza for the second round of UAL STM.